Okay, here are the two stories you shared. Jody number 1 title, The Final Passenger. It was around 11 p.m. The last bus from Farmgate to Uttara was on its way. Inside, there were only 2 passengers left. A tired young man returning from work named Tanvir, and an elderly woman draped in a white scarf, her eyes holding an eerie emptiness. The lights in the bus were dim, and the headlights cast shadows of the trees swaying like figures along the roadside. Tanvir sat by the window, scrolling through his phone. Gradually, the bus left behind the city lights and entered a quieter, less populated area. At one point, Tanvir noticed something strange about the old woman. Her face hadn't moved at all, and her eyes were staring blankly ahead, completely still. The bus stopped at a dark, desolate stop. No one got on. No one got off. Yet the helper suddenly said, "Just one more stop for you two. After that, it's the garage." Tanvir glanced outside. Silence. Darkness. Suddenly, a cold breeze blew in through the crack in the window. A chill ran down his spine. He turned to see the old woman. She was smiling. But it wasn't a normal smile. Her lips were stretched tightly, and her eyes were void of emotion. Tanvir scooted away, uneasily. And then he heard it, a whisper close to his ear. "It's been so long since someone came." Startled, he looked around. No one, just the woman and the driver. Suddenly, the bus jerked to a stop again. The door opened. No one boarded, no one left. The driver looked back and said, "That woman was supposed to get off long ago. Why is she still here?" Tanvir looked at her curiously. But what he saw shook him to the core. The woman was no longer human. Her face seemed to be melting, a dark mist oozing from beneath her skin. Her eyes were hollow, and she slowly rose from her seat. As she walked, there was no sound of footsteps. Terrified, Tanvir tried to scream, but no sound came out. She slowly moved toward him, that twisted smile growing wider. "You are the final passenger," came the whisper again. The lights in the bus went out. Silence fell. The next morning, the bus was found abandoned near an old garage outside the city. No one was inside. The driver was missing too. Tanvir's phone was discovered on a seat. The last message on it read, "She is coming." Story number 2, title, The Room Beyond the Mirror. It was a chilly October evening when Claire moved into the old Victorian house she had inherited from a distant aunt she barely remembered. The house stood at the edge of a small town, wrapped in ivy and shadows, with creaky wooden floors and walls that whispered in the wind. She was alone, or so she thought. The house had many rooms, but one in particular caught her attention. A narrow room at the end of the upstairs hallway. The door was locked with a rusted latch, and above it hung a tarnished plaque with the words, "Do not enter," scratched deep into the metal. Naturally, curiosity clawed at Claire. She asked the neighbor, an old man named Mr. Halberd, about the room. His face turned pale, and he said, "That room was sealed after your aunt's sister disappeared. No one ever opened it again. My advice, leave it be." But Claire was not the type to leave a mystery unsolved. That night, armed with a flashlight and a thin crowbar, Claire pried the latch open. The door groaned as it swung inward, revealing a dust-covered room with only one object, an enormous mirror, at least 7 feet tall, framed in cracked silver and spider webs. The mirror wasn't dusty. In fact, it was spotless, as if someone had just cleaned it. Claire stepped closer. Her reflection was perfect, too perfect. She waved. Her reflection waved back. She tilted her head. So did it. But then, something strange happened. She turned her head slightly to look around, and in that split second, the reflection smiled. She hadn't smiled. Claire stumbled back, heart racing. The smile faded from the reflection's face, replaced by the same neutral look as hers. She turned and shut the door, locking it again. but sleep evaded her that night. The next morning, she went back to the room. The mirror was still there, still perfect, but now there were fingerprints on the inside. Small, childlike prints. She ran her fingers across the glass. Cold, colder than ice. Then suddenly a whisper filled the room. "Come play with me." She turned to flee, but the door slammed shut behind her. The lights flickered. The reflection was still there, but it wasn't mimicking her anymore. It stepped back, deeper into the mirror, revealing a hallway behind it. Not the room she was in, a different place. One filled with shadows and doors. Then came the knocking. From the other side of the glass. "Knock! Knock! Knock!" Claire screamed. The glass rippled like water. A hand reached out, pale, thin, with blackened nails. It grasped the frame, pulling itself forward. She ran, slamming the door behind her. The mirror room was locked again, but something had changed. The house felt heavier, like it was breathing. For days, she heard noises, laughter from the attic, footsteps behind her, cold spots that followed her from room to room. Every mirror in the house began to behave strangely. Reflections moved a second too slow. Sometimes they didn't match her actions at all. Then one night, Claire vanished. The townspeople say the house is cursed, that the girl in the mirror took her. Now if you go near the old house at night and stand in front of the upstairs window, you'll see her, not Claire, but something wearing her face, staring back at you with a twisted smile from the wrong side of the glass.